Picture a wealthy young man from a prosperous family, dressed in the finest clothes, surrounded by friends, destined for success. Then imagine him suddenly giving away everything he owns to live in total simplicity, talking to birds, rebuilding churches, and changing the course of history through radical poverty. That is the incredible true story of Saint Francis of Assisi. Today, on the Daily Saint, we are exploring the life of the world's most famous saint, the man who brought joy to poverty, beauty to simplicity, and a revolutionary approach to faith that still inspires millions across every denomination and background. From his dramatic conversion to his friendship with animals to his lasting impact on art, ecology, and spirituality, this deep dive reveals why Saint Francis remains not just a Catholic icon, but a universal symbol of living simply so others can simply live. Most people know Saint Francis through statues of him surrounded by birds and animals, or through Christmas nativity scenes where he recreates Bethlehem. But these familiar images only scratch the surface of a life so radical it shocked his contemporaries and continues to challenge our consumer-driven world today. Let us start at the beginning, in the bustling medieval town of Assisi, Italy, around 1181. Francis Bernardone was born into wealth. His father Pietro was a successful cloth merchant who traveled to France and dressed his only son in the latest fashions. Young Francis lived for parties, tournaments, fine clothes, and dreams of knighthood. He was popular, charismatic, and ambitious. But war changed everything. In 1201, Assisi fought nearby Perugia, and Francis was captured. He spent a year in a dark, damp Perugian prison, sick, humiliated, surrounded by suffering. When finally ransomed, he returned home a changed man, haunted by deeper questions about life, success, and meaning. Then came the pivotal moment. Riding toward another battle, Francis had a strange encounter. Some say he met a leper and kissed him. Others say he heard a voice. What matters is the result. Francis began giving money to the poor, selling his father's cloth to repair churches, and living more simply. His father, furious, dragged him before the bishop. In a moment of stunning defiance, Francis stripped naked in the town square, handed back every possession, and declared, "Until now I called you my Father on earth, but now I can say, Our Father who art in heaven." 19 years old, penniless, he embraced Lady Poverty. Francis rebuilt the crumbling church of San Damiano stone by stone. He lived among lepers. He embraced literal poverty, no money, no property, begging for food. People called him crazy, but others saw holiness. His joy was infectious. He sang in the streets. He laughed with children. He saw God in creation. Then came the moment that defined his movement. On February 2nd, 1206, hearing the gospel go and preach, Francis and 11 followers walked barefoot through Assisi in rags, preaching penance, peace, and simplicity. The Franciscan movement was born. What made Francis revolutionary was not just poverty, but joy in poverty. Unlike harsh ascetics, Francis saw God's goodness everywhere, in sunsets, flowers, wind, fire. He wrote his famous canticle of the brother sun, praising God through all creation. Brother sun, sister moon, brother wind, sister water. This nature spirituality was centuries ahead of its time. His relationship with animals became legendary. The most famous story, the wolf of Gubbio. A ferocious wolf terrorized the town. Francis met him, made the sign of the cross, and negotiated peace. The wolf followed Francis meekly through town, and Gubbio fed him until he died. Whether literal or symbolic, the story captures Francis' gentle power over violence. Francis received the stigmata, the wounds of Christ, on Mount La Verna in 1214. The first person in history recorded with these marks. Bleeding in agony, he composed the perfect prayer of surrender. "We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world." His final years brought challenges. The Franciscan order grew explosively to thousands. Tensions arose between strict poverty and practical needs. Francis, increasingly blind and ill, resigned leadership and spent his last days in the humble Porziuncola chapel, surrounded by brothers singing his canticle. He died October 3rd, 1226, saying, "Welcome, Sister Death." His tomb became a pilgrimage site. He was canonized 2 years later. Pope Gregory IX called him Alter Christus, another Christ. His impact reshaped the church and world. Why does Francis matter today? First, his ecology. Pope Francis took his name deliberately, writing Laudato Si, calling Francis patron saint of ecology. Francis teaches us to see creation as family, not resource, a message desperately needed amid climate crisis. Second, his simplicity challenges consumerism. In a world of fast fashion, endless scrolling, digital clutter, he models deliberate minimalism that brings freedom, not deprivation. Third, his joy. Francis laughed, danced, embraced lepers. His happiness came from gratitude, not accumulation. In depression-prone modern life, this light shines bright. Fourth, ecumenism. Francis transcends Catholicism. Protestants love his humility, environmentalists his ecology, animal lovers his gentleness. He unites. Fifth, interfaith dialogue. Francis met Sultan al-Kamil in Egypt during the Fifth Crusade, not to convert, but to witness peacefully, a model for today's tense world. Practical ways to live like Francis today. Start with creation gratitude. Thank God for water you drink, food you eat, air you breathe. Declutter ruthlessly. Give away what you don't need. Live smaller so others can simply live. Serve the marginalized, spend time with lonely elderly. Help at soup kitchen. Be kind to cashier. Make peace. Francis rebuilt churches with his hands. What relationships need rebuilding in your life? Francis challenges us all. Are we owning our things, or are our things owning us? Do we serve money or serve God? Is our life cluttered or free? His life proves radical simplicity, produces radical joy. The poorer he became materially, the richer spiritually. In 2026, amid AI distractions, economic pressures, ecological warnings, Francis calls us to examine, what must I release to truly live? Thank you for joining on this journey with Saint Francis of Assisi, the radical who changed everything through radical simplicity. In our next video, we explore Saint Jude and why he became the saint of impossible causes. If Francis' life challenges or inspires you, please like, subscribe, and comment. What would you give away to live more simply? May Saint Francis help us praise God through Sister Sun and Brother Wind and find joy in holy poverty.